Come, let us explore this dawn's meditation class and group practice that we too could meditate like a Jedi. This morning's class is based upon the 32nd passage of the unwaning victory banner composed oh so many centuries ago by the great Buddhist reformer Vajra. Together let us relaxingly recite. Immovable, it is the seal. Unshakable, it is pristine awareness. When not grasping anything, there is no self. When not rejecting anything, there is equality that transcends worlds. What does that mean? Happily illustrate. To do that, I'm going to shift us over to a series of visual aids. By the way, these two sets of visual aids and teaching texts are available for free download. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but no, not in the fun, tingly way. The suckiness has many names. We could call it yang, we could call it religious patriarchy, we could call it walking in the footsteps of the Buddha's foolish cousin Devadatta. Most of us, including myself, were conditioned since birth to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. But as we get older, it might have dawned on us that it may be more fulfilling instead to be flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. If you desire these attributes, you've most likely come to the right place. However, the majority of humans, including the majority of meditation teachers, are not only rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel, but they think it's wonderful to be that way, and they want you to be that way as well. Therefore, it should come as little surprise that these guys will implore their students to over-focus and over-analyze in reliance upon our medial and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. The problem with that is that when we overwork this area of our brain, number one, we begin presenting with symptoms of depression. And number two, we trigger our amygdala, which functions as the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Here now, how's about some good news? Neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Consider, if you will, our spinal cord. The smart kids refer to it as our autonomic nervous system, and the ancients nicknamed it our Buddha nature. You see, every time we inhale, every time our diaphragm pulls down, we are wired to notice in a very special way, to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But notice what? To notice all manner of phenomena, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque, including mind's antics of perception, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. You see, it is the job of our controlling and rigid medial prefrontal cortex to pick and choose what to focus upon. But upon this path of noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, we're very mellow. We're accepting with whatever we notice. What do we do with that which we notice? Every time we exhale, every time we feel our diaphragm relax back to its neutral position, relax back up, we are wired to physically relax and mentally release in such a way, or to such a degree, that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining, as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. Armed with this knowledge, and oh yeah, by the way, the most efficient way for us to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this each time we feel our diaphragm automatically pull down during the inhalation. And the most did I mention? Yes, I'm sorry, I'm a little out of it. Did I mention that when that happens, we are to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this? The most efficient way to practice meditation, therefore, is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb is each time we feel our diaphragm relax back into its upper position. Or in other words, each time we feel our diaphragm relax back up. Now we're ready to go back and decode the opening text. Every time we inhale, we're already wired to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Every time we relax into our exhalation, that which we noticed, whether it was pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. As we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. This is the one taste that unites reality and is therefore referred to sometimes metaphorically as a seal. Now, pro tip. The great Buddhist philosopher, the great South Indian Buddhist philosopher Nagarjuna reminded folks that just as a bird requires both its wings to take to the sky, similarly, we need both our inhalation and our exhalation to live. We need both awareness and release to traverse the Buddha's path, to be happy and healthy. Just as we would soon die if we never inhaled again, but only exhaled, similarly, our spiritual path would come to a screeching halt if we never noticed again, but only released. Where we evolve to do both. The secret to rapid enlightenment, the secret to sudden enlightenment, is simply cooperating with our autonomic nervous system vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. When not grasping anything, there is no self. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever self we noticed, whatever identity we noticed, whatever object we noticed, could feel as non-graspable as the infinite, as the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand. When not rejecting anything, there is equality that transcends words. For instance, as we breathe out, we are wired to notice the beautiful and the ugly. As we relax into our exhalation, both the beautiful and the ugly feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just science. The same could be said not only for the remainder of our perceptions, but for the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Therefore, there are no bad thoughts, there are no bad feelings. Yes, there are some that are uncomfortable. And one of the things we viscerally realize as we cooperate with the relaxation inherent in each exhalation is that all emotions are just emotions, all intentions are just intentions, all thoughts are just thoughts, all memories are just memories, all imaginings are just imaginings. Now, there will always be cranky, rigid, controlling, elitist fools who enthusiastically want us to be just like them, want us to develop greater self-loathing and get lost and forever trying to control the uncontrollable. It is by relaxing, it's by being vulnerable to the plethora of that which we cannot control and relaxing into it that we experience the true liberation that leads us to the highest love, which is spontaneous, uncontrived, and the essence of all morality. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, oopsie, I got way ahead of myself. Sorry, I basically took 5 days off because my back went out. By the way, many thanks to my tantric partner who really nursed me back to health. Having completed this morning's opening lesson, it's time for us to shift gears. It is Qui-Gon Jinn Tuesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. I'm a little out of practice. After about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sende Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests, as well as my ADHD hyperfocus, to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now, at long last, we come to the practice section of our live stream. For the remainder of this live stream, for as long as my back will support me, we can practice. Now, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about every 5 minutes or so. When I begin answering a question, please stop typing. If you can limit yourself to one question at a time, that would be best. Some people will just give me 10 questions. That's too much. One question at a time. Stop typing when I start talking. I implore you. Okay, so quick reminder. Let me get over here real quick. As we feel our diaphragm pull down as we inhale, silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this helps us to passively cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system, which is the essence of mindfulness. As we feel our diaphragm relax back up, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, which is the essence of meditation, our relaxing cooperation with the workings of our parasympathetic nervous system. We can think of our autonomic nervous system as a shelf with a bunch of books on it, but there aren't enough books on the shelf, and therefore there has to be a bookend holding them, two bookends holding them up. Or I should say a bookend at either end holding that line of books upright. Let's dig in. The most efficient way for us to keep track of our first collection of 144 inhalations is for us to rest the great knuckle at the first knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palm the tip of our left index finger, palms up in our lap. The easiest way for us to keep track of 12 or the next 12 inhalations is for us to make use or to count upon the 3 sets of creases found upon each of the 4 fingers of our right hand. The most efficient way for us to keep track of 12 sets of 12 inhalations each is for us to count sets upon the 3 sets of creases found upon each of the 4 fingers of our left hand. Good morning. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions every 5 minutes or so. That is all my back can handle right now, so I'm going to have to cut this morning's meditation short. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In about 12 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead about, in about 11 1/3, in about 11 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's dusk meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, oopsie, may the Force be with you always.